Hey everyone. Okay, it's Gianna and Emmy here, and we are going to be talking to you guys about vendor events slash bridal shows. And the information that we're going to go over is just from start to finish. We're also going to be posting a bunch of docs, pictures, things like that that you can also look through to be able to give you some visuals and just kind of your own checklist. So first and foremost, what we wanted to start out with saying, where do you find them? We get those questions all the time. Where do you go and get events? Whether or not they're craft shows, whether or not they're bridal shows, whether or not we're working on soon at a food truck event. So Gianna's going to kind of answer that question. Where do you find those events?
Okay, so when I first started doing this, I really wasn't sure like where you were supposed to go, so I was kind of lost myself. I actually asked a few people like, where are the best places to go. One place I started with was Facebook. And on there, if you put in search and just put in crafters, there's actually a lot of private groups on there that you can be invited to. So you'll just click to join, and then somebody will approve you, and then they will post different locations on, where the vendor events are. If you're interested, if you want to be part of that, you can just say, they usually ask for your email so they can send you the information. Facebook is super easy to look for those, and there's several out there. Just look to go to the search engine, put in what you're looking for, Ohio crafters or vendors, and those will pop up. Another thing is go to Google. Like for example, I live in Grove City, so I put in Grove City vendors, and then there was different bazaars that come up, especially with the holiday season coming up. There are schools that are doing vendors and crafters. There is arts in the alleys that are coming up. There's wine listers coming up that they do wine outings that you can be a part of because most of those have the vendors there. So any of those, and they're usually really cheap to get into, anywhere from, I found them as cheap as $25. Some, if they're doing a 2-day event, could be up to $100. But you could always get somebody to do it with you, so you could split the cost, which is really good. And then those are
Craft listers. Listers is another great website where you get, I think it's up to 30 days notification. You can pay for their site and they can give you maybe, I think they give you what the whole year is. But those are great for like the festivals, things like that. If you want to go work, a couple days at a festival or a fair or something like that. So those craftlisters.com is the name of that one.
And you can also too, the other way that I've been finding events, if you know people that already, like for example, my husband, he works for Donato's Pizza, and they're also into a lot of events. And so I just checked with him and said, hey, is there any local events coming up? And he was like, yeah, there's the Columbus food truck, which I'm going to be a part of. Actually, Emmy's going to too, for Friday and Saturday. And I got into the Whitehall food truck vendor event. So then I started searching those as far as doing Google to find out what locations they would be at. If I could get into those. Oh my gosh, there's just so much out there that you can actually be a part of. It's crazy.
There's again, wine festivals are really, really a lot of fun because it attracts a lot of girls' night out, where they're going to go, and there's usually 6, 7 of the girls. So if you can find a wine festival event that's close to you, those are great. Also, again, bridal shows, and we're going to touch on those for a little bit too. And how, what questions to ask. But before we do that, um, what as far as what when you do book an event, what questions do you ask to see if this is a good event to get into?
When I book the event, say for example, there's two different events. You can be indoors or you can be outdoors. So if I'm outdoors, I wanted to check, what was needed from me. What was the dollar amount that I needed? Did I need tables? Did I need chairs? Just what accessories did I need to bring? Did I need to bring a tent? And most of the outdoor locations, you will want those things. If you don't have a tent, you can borrow it from somebody. You can go to Walmart and get the fold-out tables that are 6 foot. I think they're like $35, so they're very inexpensive. Bring you a couple fold-up chairs with you, so you have one for yourself or if somebody else is working with you. And then tablecloths to put over top of your tables, and then just your display pieces with your jewelry to put those on. Now, if it's indoors, normally you just need your tables, your chairs, and then the items that you're displaying. And then I always bring, as far as like things that you need. Do we want to talk about it?
Well, we'll touch on that here in just a
Okay.
little bit. Yeah, we'll go back onto that. Now, one of the key things is that I always ask is how long has this event been going on for? You know, is it brand new? Like, are they just saying, let's go ahead and try this at a local church, see if we can get a bunch of vendors, and what type of advertising? Because sometimes can be low attendance because people are they're just not, they don't even know the event is going on. So, but if something's been going on for a good couple of years, you can ask them what their prior attendance is. I know for bridal shows, if they have 2 to 300 brides that are registered prior to it, and that means that they're going to be a great event because every bride comes with somebody. Sometimes their whole entourage. They have their bridesmaids, they have their mother, their mother-in-law. It's like it's their special day and they want everybody there. So you're talking about tripling sometimes the number of people that are actually going to be there. If it's a festival, maybe finding out what other vendors have been there in the past, getting their information, and then being able to call them saying, hey, did you think this was worth it? Was there downtime? Was there uptime? Should we bring more than one person? That's just some great ways to even network with other people because maybe they even know some other events in your area. The other thing I did want to talk about too is Chamber of Commerce is a great way because like our city does Uptown Friday nights once a month, and you can set up a table for that for $25, and it's within your community. And if it's a very well publicized event that everybody kind of knows that goes up there, then that can really bring in some great revenue as far as selling stuff off your table or just getting contacts in general. So finding out the attendance prior is a big key thing. And advertising, how often do they advertise? Is it on the radio? Is it on Facebook? Is it on TV? Is it in the paper? I mean, just do they have a Facebook blast that they're putting out there? What type of advertising are they doing? Because if they say, oh yeah, we put it in the paper, well, how many people actually read the paper? So, and that's all the advertising they're doing, then obviously you're going to kind of say, is this event that I really want to take all Saturday doing, or should I just stay at home and make my contacts through just my group of people? So that is very important, is advertising and what the attendance was before. Cost, we kind of talked about that. An average bridal show can anywhere be from $200 to $400. So they are a little bit more expensive, but again, you get to tap into a different market. They all need their bridesmaid jewelry and things like that. So, and if you're splitting it amongst, I usually say 3 people, then it actually is for cost per, it's not so bad. But I would say the regular events, we have a women's expo that we're doing, and it's $500 for 2 full days. So, I mean, that obviously is going to be worth the money. Now, the food truck was a couple $100. So
Right.
for 2 full days.
2 full days. And we're there from noon until 9 p.m. So it's actually going to be a long day. So it's good to have, at least 3 or 4 people so you can kind of split up the day that you're not there all day, especially if you do want to walk around the event for a little bit and trying to check out the other vendors. Because I've exchanged information with them before.
Yep.
Taken swap parties and stuff. The other one that I thought of too is farmers markets. Those are really good. We have them in Grove City. Upper Arlington has them. They'll do them for all of spring and summer, and they're getting ready to do a fall farmers market, and you can usually get into those for about $25 too.
No, absolutely. Okay, so we kind of talked about how long the event how long they've been doing the event, what their attendance prior, how far in advance, cost, whether or not you need to bring tables. Sometimes they'll charge you $10 a table. So if you don't have a table versus going out and getting one, $10 and them having it set up can sometimes be worth it. Now it is again all added into the cost, but sometimes that's nice to be able to outdoors. Do you need to have a tent? Things of those type of things. Electric, if it's going to be past, the evening,
too.
Things like that. So those are just some things to really think about as you. We're also going to post a list, just a checklist again of just the things to bring. As far as displays, what catalogs, outside order forms, like all that kind of stuff, that's going to be in that checklist. So I'm not going to really touch on that today because I feel like you guys can read that and kind of have that. But what I would like to do is kind of talk about verbiage, because there's a difference between working a farmer's market or a food truck event and working a bridal show. So there's two types of verbiage. But the one key thing that you don't want to do is, because touchstone crystal being so new, that a lot of people are not familiar with it. I mean, they might have heard of Swarovski, which is always a great opener for this. But they might not have heard the jewelry. So when they come to your booth, you're not automatically talking about bookings. What you're doing is really trying to find out who they are and kind of creating that connection, just like we do at parties. You know, you wouldn't walk in the door and start asking everybody to book a party, you know, on the spot when they don't even know what you're actually selling. So it's the same concept with an event. So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about vendor events first that are not bridal shows, and what to say and how to kind of get that conversation going. So we're going to just kind of role play just real quick. I have walked up to the table. Janet's behind the table, and we're going to just kind of say some of the things, conversation starters that would be what you would say at the table to a person that walks up. Hi, I like your jewelry. What is this all about?
Oh, have you heard of, have you heard of touchstone crystal before?
No, what is touchstone crystal?
Have you heard of Swarovski?
Actually, I think I have heard of Swarovski.
Okay, awesome. Touchstone Crystal was created by Swarovski about
Uh-huh.
4 years ago. It's a direct sales company. They wanted to get the product into the people's hands. So we do home parties, and I don't know what else I say. Just
No, that's
blank.
okay. No, home parties. So you guys do home parties. Okay, all right. Some of the things that I say is, if it's are you here with a food truck? Like, because we got that coming up. Are you here? Do you know somebody? Are you guys here with a group of people? Um, and do you wear jewelry? You know what I mean? That can sometimes just be a starter. Like, what are some of your favorite colors? You know, fall's coming up. You know, you can create small talk. It doesn't even have to be where it's even about the jewelry. It can be like, oh, you're here with a group of your girlfriends. Oh, that's so much fun. You know, it is so nice to just be able to get out and just be able to have, you know, some girlfriend time. I can totally relate. Well, guess what? We're in the home party business. We do the same thing, and we can do it at fun restaurants. Would you like to hear a little bit about what our company does? You know, you can kind of roll through different things of that nature. But I always start too with saying, hey, we have a drawing here at the table. We're giving away X, Y, and Z. So it can be a free piece up to 100, a free piece up to 50, whatever you want it to be. Everybody ends up being a winner. So example, I came up to the table. Gianna's asked me, hey, do you want to sign up for this drawing? That is kind of when the small talk is going on. That's when she's kind of asking me who I'm with. You know, are you guys just out for the day, or you know, just anything. You know, what's your I mean, I always ask too, what's your favorite type of jewelry? Are you a bracelets person? Are you a necklace? I mean, they know that you're going to ask them something jewelry related, so you can ask them what their favorite styles are. And that this is all a new fall winter collection. And we're on point with the season. You can even talk about trends. It doesn't matter. You can just create that conversation. But what they're doing is as they're filling out their name and information, there's those 3 questions on that could be bride slip. And those are really, really key, because as they're filling that out, they're feeling a little bit more connected to you because you're talking about different stuff, asking them questions. But that first question says, would you be interested in hosting your very own show? Yes, no, I could be bribed. Now, if they've checked yes or I could be bribed, that is your opportunity to basically get, you know, the next the next portion of the conversation going. And this is what I do. So let's say Gianna came up to my table, I would say, oh, I see you check could be bribed. Do you want to hear what my company is doing at this event for today only?
Sure.
That is typically the answer I get. Yeah, sure. And sometimes they'll look up and they'll look at the jewelry a little bit more. It just depends on if they've had an opportunity. And I say, well, at this event today, I am giving XYZ. If you'd like to host a party anytime between now, and I usually try to do it within 45 days, but I don't say 45 days because that sounds, when you put a number on something like that, they always are like, oh my gosh. So I would probably say anytime between now and the end of the next month. So if I'm in the middle of, let's say we're coming up to August, so I know people are going to be watching this at different times, but middle of August, I'm going to say, oh, by the end of September. That almost sounds like it's a little bit further out versus in the next 45 days. So And then you just determine what you want as a group. So if you're working it with several different people, you guys want to be saying the same thing so that it's clear, it's precise. And if somebody else is talking next to another person and you're saying the same information, you're doing the same giveaway. So you want to make sure that you guys discuss that prior so that the verbiage is all the way around the table so that not one person's getting this and another person's getting that. And it can be just confusing. Keep it simplified. So Gianna said, hey, would you be interested in hosting a show anytime between now and the end of September? I will let you, we've done where you can pop a balloon, and in that balloon is $1 to $15, and that's what you get for an additional $100 piece. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Now, of course, if she pops the balloon, typically what I do is I have one balloon that has $1. The rest are 15, 14, 13, 12. It's like the higher numbers because we're paying, anywhere from $100 piece. If you've got a 70% discount, you're paying $30 for that. So minus the 15, the 14, 13, it's not that bad to get into a whole new group. So I say, is that something you'd be interested in? Would you like to pop a balloon and have a girls' night? How much fun are you having right now, especially if they're with their group of friends?
Right. And a lot of times on the spot, they'll be like, sure, I'll pop a balloon.
Right, because it's exciting. They're like, pop a balloon? What? Yeah. So they pop a balloon, and then the key thing is being so excited. So let's say she pops in, it's $14. $14? You got $14. Do you know you just got a $100 piece for $14 just for saying you want to get together with your girlfriends again? How awesome is that? They're like, I don't know what I just agreed to, but okay, this is great, because she's excited. So those are some of the things that, verbiage wise. And then right there on the spot, what I typically do is I have my open date card of my next dates. And I say, do any of these work for you? Because what I'll do is I'll pencil you in. So I'll pencil in the date. So let's say she's like, yeah, Thursday nights are awesome for my girlfriends. Okay, we're going to pencil you in. This is my next Thursday. And then I'm going to call you. Okay, today's Friday. Is there a good time on Sunday that I could just call you to make sure that that date actually works and that we can move forward with the booking?
Right.
And so you're getting agreements, that yes, what time on Sunday works for you? You know what I mean? If you know that you're already working on your hours, your business hours from, let's say, 4 to 7, say anytime between 4 and 7 work for you to call. And if they say yes, okay, that's pretty much going to be, we only connect twice before your party as far as call wise. So it's going to be that time and then a couple weeks prior. But the rest would be either via your best way. Is that through Facebook message or is that through text? So that they kind of know that you're not going to be bugging them every other day about their party. So you're going to set that in stone. You're going to get them set up on Facebook on that Sunday. You're going to get everything else done as far as their party goes. The next point time will be on the phone. We'll be talking a few days prior. The rest will be through, their favorite form of communication, which a lot of people is text and Facebook message. Right. So make sure that once you date them, you have that business time set up. So very, very key. So that if you're working an event on Sunday, Tuesday night, make sure you have a little section of time blocked off that you can follow up with these leads. Yes. Because that's really, really key because they've already, forgotten or moved on. So that is what I typically do. The other key thing that I like to do too is if Gianna is there, she's booked a party with me, I say, are you on Facebook? And if she says, yes, I'm on Facebook, can I go ahead and add you? Because again, I take care of everything for you. And that way, I'll get your event set up. You can just go in and click and add your girls. I will have all the verbiage done. They're going to know about what the location is. They're going to know everything. It's all, you literally just have to invite. And so, can I add you on Facebook? Sure.
Okay.
So that is what, on average, 99.9% people say. And so if Gianna becomes a crazy person, you can always delete her after the party. I'm just kidding. Which I haven't had any. They've turned out to be great customers for forever. No matter, job change or whatever, they've been there forever. So just remember that those are two key things and you can choose to do whatever you want as far as your giveaway is and as far as what you do with the balloon. Just remember that you want to make sure it's as a group if you have multiple people working with you.
The other thing you can do if you don't want to do the balloons is roll the dice.
Yep.
Just have a couple big fuzzy dice that you can get from. I've got mine from Walmart. Mm-hmm. They're usually the ones that hang on your mirrors. Just cut off the strings because everybody asks me that, and just have those with you. So if you don't have the balloons available, or if you run out of balloons like I did at the last event.
Nope, that's great. And the other thing on the could be bribe slip, there's also a second question on there is would you like to hear more information about earning an extra $1,000 a month? Yes, no, I could be bribed. The company has created new flyers that is the top 10 reasons to join. The other great thing to do is if you know that Tuesday night you're going to be following up with some lead slips, why not do it at a Panera or a coffee shop or something where you can do maybe some dessert like brownies and coffee and say, hey, I see you marked that you were, yes, interested in hearing more about the opportunity that I do. On Tuesday night, I am already going to be up at Panera Bread. I don't know if you'd be interested to meet for coffee, but we're doing just an opportunity event. Here's our flyer, here's the information, and those are really great to be able to follow up with them. So, and if anything, if it doesn't work out that anybody could come that night, it ends up being a bad night, you're still going there to work on calling your lead slips. Right. So it's just a great way to be able to follow up. And I always say the locations need to be close to wherever the event is. So if you're working an event 45 minutes away from where you live, you obviously don't want to do one at your house. You want to do it close to the event because if they were willing to go to that event, then you're going to be in the general location of where they're willing to drive to. So just a couple key things on as far as I feel like we don't capitalize a lot of times on events as far as the opportunity goes with a lot of people, where if you already have it set up, you've pre-planned in your mind, this is what you're going to be able to flow with that verbiage, hand them that flyer and say, hey, I will message you. Let's say this event is on Sunday. I'll message you tomorrow just to check and see if you have any questions as far as where we're going to meet and all that good stuff. So, but otherwise, can't wait to see you on Tuesday.
Yep, sounds awesome.
All right. So the next thing is just the rotation. This is really, really key. If you're working an event with multiple different people, you want to make sure that everything is kind of shared evenly. So what we typically do, I'm just going to go with a bridal show because usually there's 3 people that work that event. There's always one person that is standing out in the front holding their mini catalogs or any type of information that as people are walking by, what that does is if I'm holding a stack of mini catalogs and Gianna walks by, I'll say, Gianna, well, I won't say her name. I say, would you like a mini catalog? And usually that person says, oh, sure. Hey, by the way, I just want to let you know we're doing a drawing at our booth. So then it gets them where they're going into the booth. If you'd like to sign up for it, there's slips on the table. And that is all the person that is doing on the outside of the booth, is they're just really trying to get people in. And then there's typically 1 to 2 people behind the table. And at that point, they're doing what we talked about, creating small talk. Have they ever heard of Touchstone Crystal Jewelry before? They say no. Well, have you heard of Swarovski? Those key questions. And then if they say no to that, well, oh, I'm so excited. You can share a little bit of information about that. You can even ask them who they're here with, go into those questions again. But what they're doing is once, let's say, again, I'm making Gianna the person behind the booth, behind the table. Let's say she books somebody who decides to host a party. What she is going to do is she's going to switch out with the person that now is standing out there passing out the catalog. So that person that's passing out the mini catalogs is now going to come behind the booth and going to be talking to the people that Gianna is going to be getting into the booth. So it's a good rotation. So once a person gets a booking, they rotate it out. Once another person gets a booking, they rotate it out. So it's just a consistent flow of booking rotations so that everybody, and I know sometimes people get stuck, so it's just a matter of working through the verbiage. If you feel like you're not in your groove, and a couple people have gotten bookings, just kind of listen to what they're saying a couple of times to see if there's a different flow, a different way, or just ask the person next to you, do you feel like I'm saying things just a little bit too rushed? You know what I mean? You guys are in it to be successful together. So just make sure that you're remembering that there is a rotation in this and that you want to make sure that it's fair because everybody has paid money and just working together to make each other stronger within an event. So, and then at the end, after all the slips are in, you draw a winner, and then you guys would split the cost for the winning piece, whatever that is. And then from there on out, you split the actual slips. You put them in different categories of no, could be bribed, and yes. And so, and then you literally just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you just rotate it out from there. And then you've got your slips to follow up, and you've already planned your night, your work night, and the ones that you booked, you keep. So you're going to make sure that you kind of already pulled those or you've written your information down on them. The other thing is, real quick, and then I'll pass to G if she has anything else to add. We have stickers that you can put on the back of the slips, and it asks key information like, did they pop a balloon? How much was in the balloon? I mean, those are things that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't write down. But if you put this sticker, you print it out on labels, you just put this label on the back of that slip of that person that booked. Are they on Facebook? Did you friend them on Facebook? It's just a great little checklist right there that
awesome.
reminds you to be able to go through that with the person that hosted. And you'll always remember too, especially for brides. I think there's a spot for the bridal slips that go on the back. When's their wedding date? With that being said, I did want to say too, if you're at a bridal event and you say, oh, when's your wedding? And it's not, let's say, until 2017, because they're excited, they want to check everything out, they want to be that well-planned person. You don't want to mention anything about bridal jewelry and hosting a party, because what that's going to do is they're not going to want to host until maybe the end of 2017. And here you are in 2015. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so what are you going to put them in your back pocket for 3 years? No. So what you want to do is just say, oh, I'm so excited for you. Have you heard of Touchstone Crystal Jewelry? And you would talk to them the same way you would talk to them at a regular vendor event, because you just want them to have a fun girls get together. It has nothing to do with the wedding. So just make sure you don't burn your bridge by saying, oh, you can get your bridesmaid jewelry and all that kind of stuff, because the immediate response is, yeah, but that's not for a couple years. So just give me a mini catalog and I'll keep that in mind for when I go to look at jewelry. And then you completely, squash that booking potential. So that is just something that I thought I'd throw in there if you're looking at bridal shows.
Yeah, I mean, all the information is awesome, and what's good about this is I have not done bridal shows, so they have a lot of information on that. Whereas I just started doing vendor events because with the other company I did not, so I'm still in the learning process. So it's good to have somebody with you that has already worked the event so they can help you along the way too, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to create the video is to help you with those questions and help you with any verbiage that you need to do, because I've even learned some things here today talking with Emmy. So I think this is really awesome.
That's awesome. So obviously we're going to post all the docs. Everything is going to be in this group. We're always going to have this group available. So if you have people that join the team and you want to work an event with them, just add them in this, tag them in the comments. And if you decide that, you know what, you've got it down, you don't need it anymore, you can always take yourself out of the group. But we just thought this would be a great way to just really get our information out there. So I'm excited. And if we find that we've missed some stuff, we'll create another video and we'll post some different stuff. But otherwise, I think we covered everything.
Awesome.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Woo.
Bye.